Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the 1 Point Safety Show with myself, Scott Hartley, and my illustrious co-host, Scouse Andy Lockhart. How are you, mate? You alright, buddy?
Yeah, man, I'm good. How you doing, man?
Yeah, busy day, busy week at work. It's It's absolutely frozen. Winter is definitely here, and
Right.
not good at the minute, mate. What's it been like
Oh,
What's it been like down your neck of the woods? Snow?
yeah, man, mine. Well, for us UK lot, -3. It's been around here, so
Yeah, same.
it's kind of. So what's that in US? About what, man? About 25 F, something like that.
20, yeah, about 25 Fahrenheit. Yeah, so
Yeah, yeah.
very cold. When you consider we were talking to Jesse the other day on the bunker, and he was
Wins.
saying, "Oh, it's 70,"
He
and I
wins.
was like,
-80. Yeah.
"Yeah, -8 where you are. Nice one, Scott. Yeah, cheers." Jeez, I mean
We
that
thought we
is
had it cold.
ridiculous.
Hey, we thought we had it cold.
Yeah, I know. I just don't do well with a cold, but there you go. It is what it is. Thanks everyone for being in the chat so far. Appreciate you, Scott G, Alid, Brian, Jesse, Deluxe, Rattlehead, everybody who's in here already. So appreciate you joining in. We'll start off with our sponsors, as always, Scouse. So we are Dunstable Town FC's Talk of the Town podcast sponsor for the season. If you like non-league football or you want to chat about general soccer, football, go across, find them on YouTube, Talk of the Town podcast. We're also sponsored by Oddballs, who make our underpants and socks. So if you want a Christmas winter warmer, go and stock up on them. It's myoddballs.com. You can find them. And we're also sponsored by Fusion Therapeutics. You can find them on fusiontherapeutics.co.uk. They provide expert MSK assessments and treatments with a focus on holistic care, dedicated to improve your well-being through tailored musculoskeletal health plans. The team offers specialist injection therapy and non-medical independent prescribing. So if you're in the Northwest, Manchester or the Cheshire area, call the team on 01606 512 013, or you can book online and they'll be happy to advise you further on this affordable treatment solutions. That's all our sponsors done, mate. So into a bit of news, Scouse. There's just been a little bit of news, and I'll read you a little bit of an article. Basically, the Washington Commanders have moved a step closer to the new stadium site at RFK. And it's gone through Senate approval. So the bill will grant long-term control of the property to Washington, D.C. It was a 17-2 vote, which marked significant progress for the Commanders' hopes to return to their historic home in the district. The only ones who voted against was Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Utah Senator Mike Lee also opposed the measure. We've long been looking, obviously, the RFK site. The committee support was solidified after Montana's Senator Steve Daines, who's been quite vocal on obviously the previous name and other bits and pieces around, making sure that we keep the historic feel to the team. He actually changed his stance and he backed the RFK bill. So 17 votes to 2. It's gone through the Senate. So the next bit is just to make sure it goes through the House, which it's already had House approval, and then goes into gets pushed through and into a bill and signed into law, mate. And then the DC lawmakers can do with it what they want. I think there was a big push from Maryland. I saw that, and there's also a big push, obviously, from the other Virginia-based congressman as well. I mean, Maryland said they were willing to put more money in to potentially try and keep us there. It's nice when you've got 3 different, states. Well, county DC is not obviously a state, but you've got the district and the 2 others, all areas of the DMV, basically coming out and saying we want to try and keep the team or move the team into the area, which is very nice, mate. But it's nice to go back to that historic home. What are you thinking on that, Scouse?
Yeah, man. I thought it was some great news. I think everything's going the right way with this franchise over this past kind of year or so. Better on the field, okay, ups and downs, but a hell of a lot better than we were last year. And then obviously the things on now outside. So it's just kind of really happy that people are actually getting out the way. Like that Montana guy, like the senator, he's like,
yeah, and he's the one who's been really, really vocal, hasn't he?
And he was the fucker who kept us at bay. We couldn't get any further because of him. I don't know why he's so powerful, by the way, but compared to the rest of them. But it is what it is. I mean, I don't know the full ins and outs of how the Senate works and all that, but it's just kind of like it's just nice that he's out the way. He's probably been bribed, to be fair. You know what I mean? He's probably given.
Listen,
Nice little,
let's not talk
nice
politics
little,
on this podcast, mate.
Allegedly.
We've had enough of that both sides of the pond. You know what I mean for the last couple of months. So we'll leave that where it is. We've got fucking Russia firing ICBMs. We've got honestly, it's crazy. Let's not get into the news and politics. We're not there. We're here for.
It's hard though. We're talking about politics, aren't we? Really? You know what I mean?
I suppose so.
It's just politics trying to get us our stadium back. You know?
I know. That's all it is.
RFK is our home. End of the day, I don't care about FedEx and Northwest now. I mean, there's no affinity for that. Not as a fan. It's like, it's there. It's a name. It's it's some extra money, for the for sponsorships and whatever. But in general, we don't really give a shit about that. We give a shit about history and actually making new history as well. And it's all about kind of let's get us back in DC. I mean, if we're not in DC, being honest, we shouldn't be called Washington. Being honest, in my mind, we shouldn't be called Washington. If we move to Maryland, we should be called Maryland something. Do you know what I mean? Or Virginia, fucking whatever. I mean,
the DMV commanders or something like that.
Yeah, it should be something that doesn't. You're saying you're Washington, but you're not Washington. You know what I mean? Because you don't work in Washington. You don't play in Washington. You don't really train in Washington. You don't do anything in Washington. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like, no, mate, you need to get back into the area, man. You need to get back into the area. Simple as that.
Yeah, agreed. We do need to get back home. We saw it the first time we went out there, looked at it. Obviously, a lot of work involved in trying to renovate a stadium, so we'll wait and see what happens with that. We'll get on to the bad news.
You've got the power, though, over those three areas, so
let's hope so, mate. We'll get back onto the bad news, shall we say. That was the good news. We'll lead into the bad news. Game review of Week 11's loss to the Eagles, 26-18. Drops our record to 7-4. Obviously, we weren't expecting much to come from the game. We both predicted a loss on our Thursday pod last week when we were just waiting for Thursday night football. I'll go through the stats, though. Jaden Daniels, 22 of 32, 191 yards. 1 TD, 1 interception, 3 sacks. Jalen Hurts was 18 of 28, 221. No TDs, no interceptions, 2 sacks. And then on the rushing side, our highest rusher was Brian Robinson Jr. with 16 for 63. Jaden Daniels was 7 for 18, and Eckler was 2 for 7. On the other side, the other teams, Saquon Barkley was 26 for 146 yards and 2 TDs. And then Jalen Hurts was 10 for 39 and 1 TD rushing. On the receiving side, this is where it goes a bit mad. Zach Ertz had 47 yards for 1 TD. Our highest was Austin Eckler with 8 receptions for 89. Terry McLaurin, 1 reception for 10 yards. And then on their side, they were quite quiet, actually, in the receiver side. A.J. Brown was 5 for 65 yards. Dallas Goedert was 5 for 61. And then Saquon Barkley was 2 for 52. So that was kind of the story on offensive side. On the defensive side of the ball, the top defender was Jeremy Chin. 13 total tackles, 10 solo tackles. Frankie Louvu was 10 total tackles, 6 solos, 2 sacks and 2 tackles for a loss. And then we also had a tackle for loss from Jalen Holmes as well. Fumbles wise, Austin Eckler fumbled 1, and it was recovered by Michael Walker. And that is the story kind of on the box score of the game. What were your thoughts on the game, mate, overall?
I mean, to be honest, I thought we held up really well, especially on defense. I was really impressed with our defense up until, probably like the start of the fourth, maybe the first 5 minutes into the fourth quarter, where basically we were just gassed. We were on our defense was on the field for most of the goddamn game. And then as you looked at the box score there, besides Saquon, they didn't really do shit. None of them. I mean, Saquon's obviously a different animal, but a lot of those yards though in the fourth quarter when he started running all over us because our defense was knackered, we kept him in check up until the fourth, and I thought if our offense could actually do something in this game, we could have nicked this one. So it's frustrating really that we can't get the total team performance. We can't get that great defensive performance with a really good offensive performance. It's always one or the other, and it's frustrating. Did we deserve to win that game? No, we didn't deserve to win the game. We were hanging in there. We were just hanging about. I say because the defense was keeping us in it. You know, at the end of the day, I've got, you know, even St. Ghost had a good game. You know what I mean? So I mean, I've got no real issues with the defense at all, really, from this game. But the offense was fucking awful. Let's face it. I know you can Eckler had the right game, you know, yards passing and all the rest of it, you know, at the backfield. But again, not just good enough. Just not good enough, man. We couldn't sustain drives. We couldn't get that. We couldn't get the ball between the 20s. We couldn't get in the red zone. It's just poor, man. It really was a poor offensive performance.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was a poor offensive performance, and there's a lot that needs to be said here around what's it down to. You know, what is the issue there? Is it Jaden still hurting, but not necessarily injured? You know, soreness is a real thing. Maybe he's just got soreness of the ribs there. They weren't getting open. Quinyon Mitchell is an unbelievable cornerback. He's probably going to be Defensive Rookie of the Year. He locked down Terry McLaurin without any shadow of a doubt. He had nowhere open. I've looked back at the All-22. I've watched it back, and he's not getting open, and that's no coincidence. Bourne is a great linebacker on the other side. You've also got the other linebacker who they drafted, Dijon Cooper Dijon even, who's very good as well. And up front, they look very good. I mean, Jesse said it probably on the bunker properly, you know, on Monday, that when we were both on there as well, it was one of them where, you know, we're going up against a team in Philly who you have to say are a better team than we are right now. You know, I said it.
That was causing us problems, man.
They've been building for 4 years, and we've been building for 4 months. You know, you can't have everything all at once, and it's difficult. It is, because you're right. We were hanging around. We're in this game. There's no denying that we weren't in this game, but it's been a tough 2 games coming up against 2 very good sides. I also think, and I'll let you go with that. What do you think? Do you think it's something that Jaden's maybe not seen, different looks, that sort of thing that he's not seen for a while?
I mean, I suppose so. I mean, I didn't see anything crazy different compared to other teams, especially how the Eagles played. As you say, they're just a better team. They've just got better players. Like, man for man, nearly all their team, you'd probably select them to play for you rather than the players we've got. But I'd probably say about 80% of their team you'd probably choose over us, you know, being honest. But the thing is it's not just about beating the Eagles. It's always about the true measuring sticks. For me, it's always about measuring sticks. You know, how good we've been against the really good teams. Okay, now I'd say to see where you're at, because realistically, we're not going to go all the way. I'd love to. Don't get me wrong. We hit right form and all the rest of it, but highly unlikely.
Touch wood, scouts, and all that. You know,
highly unlikely we're going to get there. Okay, you know, so the idea is, okay, where are we at the moment? Are we a top 10 team? Are we a top 8 team? Or are we you know, top 20 team? You know. And the only way you kind of work that out is by playing the better teams who are meant to be on paper way better than you, and how well you perform. And yeah, you know, it wasn't a blowout. You know, we were definitely competitive in the game. I say defense I thought was outstanding. I really did. I thought it was outstanding.
I agree with you.
Man I thought it was outstanding until the fourth, where we just had no gas left. I think we were on the field for so long. I would say Saquon just eventually got the hold and just started gashing us in that fourth. That's why his stats look amazing. When, to be fair, he didn't do. I thought we held him well, to be honest, up until the fourth. And I blame that on the offense. Why? Because they went on the ball, they went on the field to give our defense a breather. You know, so that's why I blame the offense for the loss this time round.
It's funny, isn't it? Because you can see the game coming, and you did it against. You did it when we were in our chat against Pittsburgh, and it was exactly the same story again in this game. You called it and said, with 10 minutes to go, this is where it falls apart, because the defense just cannot play the way it's been playing for 4 quarters. It's impossible. They're going to get gassed. They're going to get tired. And when you start rotating players in and out, you're going to struggle. You know what I mean? You're going to struggle. You're always going to have a drop off that way if you're rotating people in. But yeah, it's an L. It happens. We live and learn. We move on. We can't dwell on it. I don't want to be like self-righteous and start looking for rose-tinted specs and give it the, oh well, you know, we're better than we are. Yeah, man, I was pissed off, and so was Jesse. But once you slept on it for a few days, that's gone now. We don't worry about that. And now we're into a week that's everybody's marked on the calendar. It's Dallas week, Scouse.
Yeah, exactly, man. And that's the thing. You can't hold the grudge for too long. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, of course, if we lose a game, I'm going to be pissed. No matter how we lost, if we deserve to win and lose, or if we lost because we got battered, it doesn't matter. It's still a loss, and I don't like it. And no fan likes it. So that's normal. But I have to say that couple of days, I'll say, reevaluating, maybe look at the tape, maybe look at the L22 like you mentioned, and then you go, okay, this is the reasons why, break it down a little bit more, and that's fine, because then you can get your head around it of why you got beat on that Sunday. So, and as I say, now it's Dallas week, and I can't wait to see it, because at Dallas are absolute fucking trash. So it's going to be a good one.
It is. Let's just hark back. I know I've just said trying to move on there, but let's just hark back a little bit and look at specific players in mind in that game. I mean, Jaden had his probable worst game that he's had for us in since he's been here. What were your thoughts on Jaden overall, and how you thought he thought he
wasn't very good? Let's face it, he wasn't very good. I mean, was he god awful? No, he wasn't awful. He wasn't like, Ryan Leaf type of shit. You know what I mean? He wasn't like that. So I'm not. Yeah, of course. I still think he's still hard with injury. Yeah, I'm still thinking that he's still got some injury going on. I know they're saying he's not hurt, but those ribs, man, don't heal in 2 weeks, especially if you've been hit on them regularly.
Are you buying that he's not?
I don't think he's fully out. I don't think he's 100%. But I don't think it helps though. Is that Dan Quinn says he's 100%. And then Jaden goes, oh, the rib wraps, yeah, they're just for, to keep me warm and blah, 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 and loose. And I'm like, well...
And we'll get on to
which
that,
one is it then?
sure.
See what I mean? Like, because no one else in NFL history, I think, wears rib wraps to keep the ribs warm while they're waiting in between plays or in between drives. Do you know what I mean? So, is it... No, I still think there's definitely still something going on, as you say, probably more like a soreness more than a true tear or something like that. But he's still struggling, so... I'm still thinking he's still playing a banged up line.
Yeah, and I think this time of the year before a bye week, it's nice to have the mini bye, as such. But also, we did need it. I think we needed it more to reset and refocus on what is the task at hand. Where are we as a team? Because coming off two, good teams. I mean, a lot of people poo-pooed and said, "Oh, the Pittsburgh Steelers, yeah, they're nothing. Beat the Ravens, mate." You know what I mean? And I know.
Well,
and it's like,
what did they say about them last week when we lost to them? They are designed to beat Lamar. Their defense is designed to beat Lamar, and we've got a very similar quarterback. And look what we did to him. And Jaden actually did better than Lamar did by far.
Yeah.
So it's you got to take the rough with the smooth, and I think some of that is but it's still pretty. Still some things you can take away positively. Sure.
And having that reset moment, I think, will help this team overall. And taking on board what we've got from the Philly game. Obviously, we're seeing them in a few weeks, so we'll see where we are in a couple of weeks, I suppose. But having the bye late on is a help if you're going into the playoffs, knowing we can get right, we can get fit, getting ready to go. But it's tough at the moment when you're thinking to yourself, is it all dropping off? But Paul's there saying it's likely bits of my roof will fall off my house too. Jeez, stay safe, Paul, is all I'm going to say. Rod there saying,
where you living?
Yeah, Kansas. But yeah, Rod was saying there, JD5 was nervous about the O-line in front of him because he knew they were beat up both mentally and physically. Yeah, possibly.
I mean, that's a valid point, but the thing is that you, as a quarterback, you've got to forget about that.
Yeah,
you've got to have like a memory, like a sieve. You know what I mean? Like you've got to go, bad play, totally gone, totally forgot about it. Same thing with worried about it. Your O line being banged up and struggling. You've just got to focus on your game and hope that you don't get smoked. You know what I mean, by a tackle, some sort of injury hit. But again, it is difficult, especially if you are hurting. It is difficult but that's why they get paid 30, 20 mil a year, well, 60 mil a year if you're Dak. So
I mean, Deluxe has probably nailed it here. The pragmatist that he is has said it's much about when you play as to who you play. Steelers and Eagles in four days, weeks 10, 11 is a tough challenge. I agree with you, mate. Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Two of the toughest sides.
By far,
it always was. Always was going to be as well.
And we said, could we go 2-2 in the last 4 games? And we have. Yeah. We lost the last 2, won the first 2 before. So I'm not too worried. We're still going to make the playoff.
Neither am I.
I'm not worried. I mean, yeah, it'd be nice to beat these guys, and hopefully we'll see them next time and give them a hiding. But we'll have to just see how it goes, man. Eagles, man, that's crunch because there is a way technically. I know it's a bit excessive. They'll come off 2 losses, but there's still a way we can get to win the division. There's still a way there.
Yeah, I think we'll get into that a little bit later because one of the questions I think mentions that, so we'll go through that. So injury report, we'll get into this week's injury report. Normally about halfway through this show, the injury report comes out for Thursday. So if you get that, Scouse, just interrupt me and we'll pull up Thursday's injury report. But looking at Wednesday's injury report from practice, Dorrance Armstrong with a knee was full practice. Nick Ballore with a knee did not practice. He's obviously been out for quite a while. Brandon Coleman with his thumb was full practice. Zach Ertz was on a rest day, did not practice. Cleveland Farrell with a knee was limited. Noah Igbenogany with the thumb was limited. Jean-Baptiste, who's back from his ankle, he was full practice. They've opened the 21-day window on him as well. Marshawn Lattimore hamstring did not practice Wednesday. Seen photos obviously online of Lattimore training and talking to Joe Witt today. Austin Seibert, kicker, right hip, limited practice, and Ben Sinnott, tight end, illness was limited practice. So nothing really standing out there apart from Biadish is not on the injury report, which is very good to see. So we'll see what happens on especially because he had 3 injuries last week. It's like, okay.
And then he didn't play all week. He didn't play all game either. He did have snaps off because he was struggling, and now he's not on the injury report at all. Sounds a bit ropey. That does, to be fair.
Who knows?
But yeah, man.
Have you got it? You haven't. I take it it's not out yet for today.
No, it's not there yet. But
okay, on to Dallas's side then. Jake Ferguson, tight end, concussion, did not practice. I think he is actually out on game status. Hunt Lupeco, fullback, calf, didn't practice. Zach Martin, guard, ankle, shoulder, did not practice. Tyler Smith, Tyler Smith, other guard, ankle, stroke, knee, did not practice. Nick Virgil, linebacker, foot, did not practice. Then they've got these are all limited. These ones here. So we've got Brandon Cooks, wide receiver, knee. Eric Kendricks, linebacker, shoulder. Marshawn Nealand, defensive end, knee. CD Lamb, wide receiver, back, stroke, foot, was limited. Jordan Lewis, cornerback, neck, limited. And then Deron Bland, cornerback, was full practice. Chuma Adoga, tackle, toe, full practice, and Tyler Guyton has a shoulder, and he was full practice as well. So, there's a few on there as well that we're looking at, especially Zach Martin, and CD Lamb as well was only a limited participant. So, interesting.
I'm sure he'll be ready.
He'll be ready, but Zach Martin being out on Wednesday, we'll see how it is today from Dallas's side. And if he's not practiced again today, that is an interesting one. Definitely an interesting one.
He's a huge player for them.
So we'll preview the Dallas Cowboys game then. So it's a Sunday, 1:00 Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT kickoff. They are 3-7 in the NFC East. They are third place in the NFC East. Looking at their schedule and their record, they beat the Browns 33-17. They then lost to the Saints 44-19. They lost to the Ravens even 28-25. Won against the Giants 2015. Won against the Steelers 2017. Got absolutely smoked by the Lions 47-9. Lost to the 49ers 30-24. Lost to the Falcons 27-21. 34-6 against the Eagles and 34-10 against the Texans. 5 straight losses for the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, Cooper Rush came in week 10 and Dak went on IR, season-ending IR with a hamstring, I believe. Looking at their standout players so far this year, Dak Prescott, 1,978 yards and no more. That'll be his total stats. Rico Dowdle is their highest rated running back with rushing yards of 402. CeeDee Lamb has 774 yards. Top tackler is Eric Kendricks with 87. And Trayvon Diggs is their highest with interceptions of 2. What are your thoughts on the Dallas game, mate, going into Dallas week? Obviously, this will be circled on the calendar for all these people who've been with Dallas for so long. What do you think, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I can't see anything but a win in this game. They are not. I said they're banged up. I say the main guys are out. Dak's out. Dak's always got a good record against us, so it's good that he's not in there. Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one because obviously I always say, it's family business, it's in division game, and form goes out the window to a certain extent, and it does to a certain extent. I mean, obviously there is outliers. Right. There is outliers where you can see, a big one like I think Dallas won 40-0 did against the Giants last year and stuff like that. But very, very rare those things happen. It'll still be close-ish game, but I think though we're going to win it. Well, not one of those games where you're winning, but you don't feel that you're under any stress. But it's not. But the scoreline's not massive. Do you know what I mean? Like, man, do you see what I mean? Like, so we're going to be in control of it. I think. They can't stop the run. Robinson's fit. We're going to be. We're going to be good to go from that angle, and they won't be able to stop us on the run on the ground. So I'm not worried really about this game, even though really it should, because against Dallas, we always send the shit to bed, don't we? Let's face it.
We do, and Jesse's going to this game. Our good friend Jesse Martin. So shout out to Jesse. Hope you enjoy it.
I'm changing what I said. We've lost now. Jesse's gone.
I hope you enjoy the game, mate. He's going out to the game. So shout out to Jesse. I hope you enjoy it, and shout out to everybody else who's going to the game as well. I've seen resale tickets on the market at the moment. They are pricey. Just before Christmas, I think the cheapest one I found is about $300.
I'll tell you what's cheap though. Dallas tickets in Dallas.
Are they?
Yeah, cheap, man. Yeah, I was watching one of their podcasters, and he was saying that basically a $1,500 ticket normally is going for $150, $180. Wow! Because no one's going because they're absolutely shite. So they can't sell for anything. So on the next game you played them away might be worth it.
Yeah. Final game of the season, yeah. Why not? Why not?
But yeah, man. I mean, I'm not worried about this team. I'm not worried at all. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, yeah, but again, it usually got thrown to him. Cooper Rush, that guy's a walking fumble. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I was saying this the other day. 2 fumbles against Philly, 1 fumble last week against Atlanta. He's got fumbling issues, man. He has got serious fumbling issue. Can you get in for 25 on that?
Fuck. I mean, that's
wow.
When was the last time you had a Dallas ticket for that price? I mean, woo, it's nice to see from a Washington fan's perspective. Seeing them out.
Yeah, the wheels have fell off.
Brilliant. Yeah.
It is brilliant, let's be honest. I mean, they were all in, Scouts, remember? They were all in.
yeah, all in to get smoked 5 straight.
Yeah. Well, Deluxe has just said it there as well. Saw that you can get tickets in Dallas for 25. I mean, yeah. But yeah, it is what it is. Just organic. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I like that. That's good. Just who's your? We're not going to go keys to victory, but what do you think? Like standout performer will be in the game. Who do you want to see more of while we get into this game? What's going to make the difference for us, Scouse?
Obviously, I'd love to see Terry just torch them. I'd love to see that, especially after last week's performance, where, as you say, he got one reception for 10 yards. I'd love to see him just give, like, if Bland's going to play, burn him to shreds, or he's going to be up against Trayvon Diggs. Yeah, bring it on. You know what I mean? I want to see that battle. I want to see the Terry battle against, probably up against Diggs, to be fair. I want to see that. I want to see the way Dallas defense is. They can't stop the run. They're like us in that respect. So, load up on the run game. Load up on the run game first, man, and then set play action off from there. I think that's the main way to beat them.
Well, when we were a basket case, obviously Jesse's put up here, used to be able to get tickets for our games for $4. I mean, I'm looking at that and saying, how much are tickets at the moment for the Panthers then? Because, God, I bet nobody's watching them. Yeah, nobody's watching them. I do vaguely remember, I think we were playing the Lions or somebody like that a few years ago, and it was ridiculous. It was like $4, $5, $6 a ticket, something stupid like that. I mean, yeah, exactly. Or you can eat buffet, in you go for $25.
Well, you can eat shit, isn't it? Let's face it.
I don't think there's anything there. Who's going to stand out for you then, Scouse, in this game? Just Terry?
B. Robin Eckler and Terry. I think that's where it's going to go.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, I think on defense, we need to see Jeremy Chin have another game like he's had probably the last 4 games. I kind of want to see Sam Rustil again, who had an amazing game against Philly. He looked every bit like a lockdown corner against Philly.
Really surprised he did well against AJ as well as he did. I know he didn't. I know he wasn't always up against him because St. Juice was as well.
But even Devontae Smith is a great receiver.
Yeah, he's a good receiver. Yeah, man. I mean, as I say, Sandstrow's the man. He's just going to keep on getting better. I can't wait to see this guy in 2-3 years. He's going to be like one of the best in the league.
Yeah, I think I want to see more from Armstrong this game as well. I want to see more from him to say, "Come on, let's get back to
Dallas boys." Yeah, I want to see the Dallas.
That's what I mean.
Turn over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like I was saying to you before, they will have this marked on their calendar, no doubt about it. That's the team you've just left. Of course you want to go to prove it to them and show them this is what I've got. You haven't just moved across this team because Quinn and the coaching staff are here. Yeah, it helps, absolutely. You know what I mean? And that you're there going, do you know what? Yeah, I get this. And I understand his system. But you want to beat your old team. It's like anything, isn't it? Whenever we watch football, as in soccer, no doubt about it, you always put the former player who's just left you on your acca. Because guaranteed they're going to score. 100%. They're always going to score, aren't they? So, that one you got, he was crap, we got rid of him. Oh, look, he's just scored 2 against us. Always the way of it. Always the way of it, no matter what. And that is kind of where I want to be with this team going forward. We'll get into our fan questions and Scouts before, and we'll do predictions at the end. First fan question is from Tim Towner, who sent me this, I think, last Tuesday. He airmailed me this. He's probably got his on pigeon carrier, sending it across. He's always in first. I don't know what he does. He just direct messages me randomly through the week and goes, "There's one for the pod." But shout out to Tim. If you want to go and follow him on X, he is at Tim Towner. He said, if you go to a game or any game, what is, as in football or any sport, what is your go-to food item? And are peanuts an option over there? So I'll let you go with that one first, and we'll have a bit of a story time, I suppose.
Normally when you go to like soccer matches, it's normally like either going to be a burger or it's going to be a pie.
Yeah.
They're the only 2 kind of main food stuffs out there, really. I mean, yeah, there's some hot dogs here, blah blah blah, but most of the time it's burgers or it's some sort of pie or pasty or something like that, sausage roll. So for me, it'd probably be, as you know, I look like a pie. I'd normally go for a pie. So
yeah, you know it, mate. I mean, it's funny. What's your best sporting food you've done? What's your best sporting food
I've ever done?
Probably
the 3-course at Anfield once.
Did you do 3 course? Did you go prawn sandwich brigade?
Yeah, prawn sandwich brigade once. Yeah.
Oh no, that's Was it good? That's not it. I'm going to say the wings that were at the tailgate that first season we went out there. They were epic in the parking lot. I must have had about 30 of them. They were for winners. Peanuts are not an option over here, Tim. Really, generally, it's not something that we do. I mean, because of the time difference, and yeah, it's kind of a bar snack because of the time difference, and sitting at 6 o'clock at night generally on a Sunday. I'm not really wanting food as much because I've normally had my tea. You know what I mean? I've had my dinner. It's like, oh, well, I'm just going to sit down and watch the game now. Yeah. And then later on, if it's a late game, I'll probably just have some popcorn or something like that, to be fair. Go all out for the Super Bowl, pizzas, wings, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
but,
you're going to go all in when it's that. Yeah, Super Bowl.
But, yeah, I mean, one for me, the best food I've ever had at sporting venue is two that spring to mind. The first one is a steak bridie at Dunfermline Athletic. They were from a local pie shop that they got them in, and it's basically like a side pasty almost, like a Cornish pasty. Oh my God, they were tremendous. But the best one I've ever had was at Agborough Stadium, Kidderminster Harriers. I don't know if they still do it at all, but they used to do for £3 at the time. Obviously, I don't know what inflation's like now. They did a full hot tray of cottage pie.
Right, okay.
So you could sit there and get a fork and a small cottage pie for £3. Oh my God. It was for absolute winners. There's no doubt about it. Honestly, that was for winners. Kidderminster Harriers, Agborough Stadium. Shout out to Kiddy. Anyway, so that's that one. Tim's second question, we'll come back to that a little bit later on. And we'll finish with that one. Tim's third question that he put through, he said, do you think DQ and Joe Witt had enough inside dirt on Kellen Moore to elevate our defence to play inspired versus Philly? And if so, do you expect a similar result versus McCarthy?
Probably a pretty good comparison there. I think I didn't even think of that. But yeah, I mean, I think that might have been definitely part of it, and why not be the same again this time round for McCarthy? The only difference is though, is McCarthy is he the play caller?
Yes, he is. Yeah, he is.
He is the play caller. Okay, then so yeah, we might see a high level defense play this weekend. But again, I mean, to be fair, I kind of expected anyway, because they've got nobody. They've got a poor quarterback, and they've got no run game. Offensive line's banged up. They've got CeeDee Lamb who's injured as well. Who's playing through injury. I mean, where are they going to kill us? But Jake Ferguson's got a concussion. Who's going to be the one to kill us on that offense? Do you know what I mean?
Rico Dowdle.
Rico Dowdle, yeah, terrified. You know what I mean? This is why this game should be easy.
Should be a walkover, really, on paper. On paper,
it never is. It never is.
Yeah,
easy, I know. Where you're just strolling, but I hope it will be.
Yeah, I mean, to answer your question, Tim, I expect similar results against McCarthy. I don't know if you watched Joe Witt's press conference earlier, Scouts, not sure if you saw it. He was talking about, basically, Sam Fortier put a very good question to him. So if you go in and watch that, it's about 4 minutes into his presser. He basically said, how did the defence play so well? Is it all about scheme? And it was like, no, you know what? I keep everything he said. I'll go through and I'll have conversations in the hallway with Kellen Moore or with such and such. And he said, and further down the line, he said, I'll go back to that conversation. And he recalled a play that they scored against us that was the same play that Dallas had called in San Francisco last year. And he said, I could see it straight away, so I knew what was going on. And then Sam Fortier said to him, so do you keep this in a notebook or something? And he said, no, I've got every single PowerPoint I've ever done, I keep it. I was like, wow, okay, fair enough. If you've got that and you want to write that down.
Does he ever go back and read them, though? You know what I mean? Oh, one good having them.
I know. But to have that in your bag, then, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where So I expect a similar performance on McCarthy. Dan Quinn also spoke about it as well and said, he learned a lot from Mike McCarthy, both on the field and off the field. And he also said that, the Joneses and the way that they do things, you learn from them.
I think they've been too nice there. I think they've tore that team
platitudes. Up. So do I.
I think that the way they're drafted, the way they've drafted has been awful. The way they've Luke Shoemaker in the second round. Yeah, that's really top draw drafting right there, Jerry. And what about the other thing about the two contracts, of Lamb and Dak? Like, mate,
Unbelievable
you
money.
knew you were going to keep them. Just fucking get it done early. So then you've got time then to actually build some more of a roster, and you didn't have the time because you did it right at the end of like just before the start of the season, And even Lamb stayed out, didn't he? He stayed out of practice and all stuff.
Yeah.
And you were going to pay him, so just get it done. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think the way they do things is just absolute shit, and that's the reason why they're bad as they are.
And it's crazy the way that that's changed, but I mean we will get onto that because there's a question similar to that. So Paul Fiander Turner, who is in our chat, he is at Having a Radox on X. He said, "Who are our players most likely to be getting voted All Pro and Pro Bowl this year?"
Oof.
So I'll let you go if you've got anyone for All Pro.
All Pro. I mean,
that's hard, isn't it? That is a hard one. Are we good enough to have an All Pro? I'm not sure if Cosme might get it, but that's a tough
I don't
call.
think he'd be All Pro. I think he might be Pro Bowler. I can't see him.
Yeah, definitely. I think he should be a Pro Bowler. I think Biadish should be a Pro Bowler. Chin should probably be a Pro Bowler.
If he's playing the way he is, he will be. He might be the only guy who might get All Pro. If he keeps playing the way he is. Chin, yeah.
Luvu, would you say Luvu's worthy of a Pro Bowl?
Potentially.
Has the numbers. Yeah, you're right, Paul. He has the numbers, and that's where I was going with that, thinking...
He's the hype. Yeah.
What about someone that we're not even really thinking about who's been an absolutely astute signing? That's Dante Fowler Jr. with the amount of sacks he's got so far.
I mean,
he's a situational edge rusher.
Again, it wouldn't be All Pro. He doesn't play every snap.
As a Pro Bowler, that's what I mean. Like on the vote wise,
potentially.
But I don't know if we do get an All Pro.
Seabird, if he comes back.
Yeah, there's the one. Pro Bowl kicker.
Pro Bowl kick.
Maybe.
Hunter as well. Chris Way tends to do quite well in those Pro Bowls.
He does.
But again, it's getting the All Pro. That's what all the players want. They all want the All Pro because that's voted by the other players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and what about Revo?
And again, he could, but I mean, is he don't get me wrong, he is playing well on special teams, but is he playing well and above anybody else in our team? Is he sticking like standing out like a sore thumb as in how good he is compared to the rest of our special teams? Because if not, then you're either saying that our special teams are all pro level, or Revo's not playing at all pro level. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like that, isn't it? I mean, I don't think he's playing badly, but would he get an all pro this year? I don't think he will.
No, I don't think he will either. I mean, I'm more interested, Paul, to answer the question a bit more in what awards we get from maybe the NFL awards, Coach of the Year, Rookie of the Year, that sort of thing. That's kind of where you want to be. Yes, ideally, everyone wants the All-Pro because it's voted for by players and coaches. That's where you want to be. But Pro Bowl's a bit of a fix, really. You see players every year in there.
It's the hype game with the Pro Bowls because people like us can vote for it. You know what I mean? Which is stupid.
Of course they can.
You know what I mean? Like and journalists and all that. So it's yeah. I mean, All Pro's the way to go, but I don't see any All Pros.
That's just made me tickle. That he said Fowler's been the best short-term rental I've seen since Jenny McCarthy video when I was 18. Agreed. Yeah, I hope he does get a decent contract to stay too. That's something we need to talk about.
He'll want a decent contract. Tell you that.
Well, we were saying that last week, weren't we? He's wanting a decent contract. Paul's second question, he said, if this was asked at DQ, which player do you think he needs to deliver 10% more between now and the end of the season to push this team forward?
Ooh, interesting. I'd probably say St. Ghost.
Oh, okay.
He would need a 10% increase in his play, and that would help us out a lot. To be honest, no,
It
a
would.
lot less penalties, a lot less getting toasted over the top. That would make a big difference for us. Barring that he plays, obviously we don't know when Lattimore's coming back, and I think BSJ is going to be the one out. Personally, I think he will be when Lattimore plays. But until then, I want 10% more from you, man. And I give him his due. He played well last week. Keep that up. Keep that level of play up.
I think I've got two here. I could go Brandon Coleman as one of them, where we just need to say, "Come on, you need to just give us a little bit more."
He's always banged up every single week.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter what it is. Like before it was his pec, and then it was his shoulder, and then it was his back, and then it was his thumb. It's like, mate, can't you stay like even reasonably healthy?
It's hard, man. I mean? It's hard,
but he's played
especially
last week. You know what I mean?
Well, I know that, and that's what I mean. You need to go back to saying, do we need to go back to that 50-50 split if Cornelius Lucas is right? Maybe. I mean, Brian's got a good.
We were playing well that way, so I would go back. To that.
Brian's got a good shout there, saying Noah Brown.
Yeah, man. I mean, we need to stop dropping passes, man. I mean, that's been the Achilles heel the last few weeks. Jaden's putting it on people's chests. They're just not catching it. So
I'm going to take the low hanging fruit here and say Jaden Daniels needs to give us 10% more as well.
Yeah,
purely because he's had 2 down games, and if he's pushing through the pain barrier, come on, you need to get back to what you gave us the previous 5 weeks, 6 weeks. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a tough one, but great question, Paul. We appreciate that. Third question from Paul. He's sending loads, mate. Be like Paul. Send all your questions in. With the Cowboys collapsing, the Jets sacking everyone, the Bears ruining rookies again, and the Giants just being shite, are we now one of the most stable ownership groups in the NFL?
Well, I mean, stable as in that no shit's happening, then yeah. Stable as in it's only been there 2 years. It's not really stable, is it? I mean, the longevity is stable. And I think, you're looking at your Pittsburgh guy, Rooney's, those type of guys who've been there for 30 or 20 years plus, as owners, and they've done it the right way, that's stable, that's stability. But obviously compared to the teams he mentioned, hell yeah, we're a lot more stable than they are. Yeah, and
he didn't even mention Carolina. People like. He didn't mention Carolina or the Jags. Do you know what I mean? It's like, hang on a minute. Who knows what's happening at them 2 franchises. But, yeah, I think you're right, Paul, in what you're saying with your question. I think we are a stable organisation. Not necessarily stable. We've got longevity, as Scouse mentions. And to your point, Scouse, I think you're absolutely spot on with what you were saying there. And I completely agree with you. I just think it's run as a football team now. And it's never been run as a football team before. The right people are in the building. The adults have taken over the asylum. It's back to being a professionally run organisation, both on and off the field. Hence why now we're getting... And you said it, mate, and I will go back, and you can go back a year ago. You can go back when Josh Harris took over this team. You can go back when Peters took over as GM. Scouse doubled down on his call and said... There will be a time where free agents say, I want to go to Washington. And what's happening? Free agents are saying, I want to go to Washington. Because it's an attractive place. You have a young quarterback who we've hit on, and we know is probably going to be the future of this team. Well, I absolutely sincerely hope he is going to be the future of this team for a long time to come. We're playing a decent brand of football. The stadium's selling out. It's not, there's been a lot of upgrades. It's still a shithole, but there's a lot of upgrades. And, it isn't a bad game day atmosphere. So for me, I think if I was a free agent or if I was a fan looking at this from the outside, I'd say we're a pretty stably run team.
I'd say it's definitely a hell of a lot stable than it was later than 2 years ago. You know what I mean? So
yeah, tell me about it.
That was an absolute fucking... We were the clown show. The gift that kept on giving. You know what I mean? That was us. But now it's not. Now it's the Panthers' turn. Now it's the Giants' turn to have all that. So, yeah, enjoy that horribleness in 20 years.
Thanks, Dark Brown, for joining us. Eagles fan here. Let's go, Commanders. Put the final nail in the cowgirl's coffin. Absolutely, my friend. Well, I say that in jest. You're not always going to be our friend, you know. Apart from game day, we can, but we can't forgive who you support. You support who you support, mate. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, we'll do that for you, no doubt about it.
Nice to see other teams, fans come in as well, not just Washington.
It is, man. It is good to see other fans, and you're welcome in here. It's a safe space for everybody. So yeah, I don't like that word, safe space.
We're ready for banter if you want to give it, Dark.
If you want to give us it back, then come along, Dark Brown. That's fine. Give us it back. Next question then. Andy Burrows, our good mate, he is at Washington Commanders UK on X. Also, the host of the Bunker podcast. You can find him all over social media as well. He's a bit of a media darling, isn't he, Burrows? We know he's great. Hope he gets better soon as well. He's been a bit under the weather with his chest, so I hope he's doing a lot better. He said, he's got a new one, is he? I thought he was just going in for a hair transplant. That's what he is. Mate. He's got a new pair. Maybe that's what it was. No, man. It's he said if we now didn't make the postseason from the position we're currently in, would the season be seen as a failure or a learning curve? So if we don't make the postseason, yeah, I 100% agree with you. It's a failure if you don't make the postseason now.
For us to not make it now, we basically have to lose out. You know what I mean?
We've got an 84% chance right now, according to stats, to make the postseason.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You have to virtually lose out or lose 5 of that last 6 games, you know, to actually not make it. You know, and I can't see our team just down in tools like that. This team is still well coached and they're still all in. Do you know what I mean? You can see like in the Reds that they're locked in still. You know, so I'm not definitely won't be happening. But if it did, I'll be very disappointed. Very disappointed.
So would I. Deluxe is right. He said all fans can agree. Fuck the Cowboys. Absolutely, mate. Yeah, fuck the Cowboys. I don't care.
I agree with this as well, Scott G.
I did sound like RG me. Leave RG. Leave him alone. He's the reason I became a Commanders fan. So RG, yeah, it's my fault. It's all his fault. Yeah. Do you know what?
No, I'd rather keep him, mate, because the god awful.
Well, McCarthy's contract ends at the end of the season, mate. He's done.
Yeah, we don't.
So he's gone.
We know that, but yeah, man, it would be nice.
And Dayball, I think, will go as well. I mean, I actually said it a few weeks ago. I'd be surprised if we were not the only team with the same head coach going into next season. But I think Sirianni's turned the corner. I mean, Dark Brown can tell us. I don't know how you guys feel about him, but we think he's an absolute moron of a head coach. I mean,
I think
it's just fighting with his own fans and Cleveland fans at the Cleveland game. I mean, you know what Howie's done there. I mean, Howie was getting roasted out of town a few years ago, but look at what they done, mate, with that team. I mean, he drives a hard bargain, and as I said before, Quinion Mitchell is probably defensive rookie of the year. DeJean is a great player. I mean, dude, they've got a good setup, but I think Sirianni saved his job now. So I'll row back. I'll row back on that a little bit. I think we'll probably end up with Sirianni, but I don't think Dayball survives Deluxe, and McCarthy will be gone. He will be gone.
They're both gone, and I think Sirianni's got one more year. I think. I think the
GM might go as well at New York at the Giants, because are you going to trust him to pick your future franchise quarterback out of the draft?
I mean, who would you pick if you're the Giants? Giants are predicted around 6th at the moment, but I reckon they'll probably be about 4th by the time it all ends up being the way it is.
That is a tough one, mate. Do you go Sanders?
I mean, I think that's a bit of a reach. I think at 4.
So do I.
I think Milroe's awful. I don't rate him at all.
Is he the Alabama QB?
Alabama guy. Everyone thinks that he's going to be the real deal. I mean, I don't see it. I mean,
this is for me a really down year scout at QBs.
The best one's probably Cam Ward, and even then, you know, he's been a turnover machine only until this year, where he's kind of reined in a little bit. I mean, you know, and you're picking your main guy, you know, and at 4 as well, where you never know. Okay, Jags are probably going to be number 1. They're going
to go. They're going to go Hunter. They're going to go Hunter there, aren't they, Travis?
Yeah.
They'll go Hunter
Travis,
back guaranteed.
Yeah.
Well, they're not. Look, they've paid Trevor Lawrence $52 million a year. They're not going to
quarterback. There's no chance. Same with Dallas because the money that Dak's on. There's just no point in getting another. No, for example, I heard rumors about Dallas going for potentially going for Sanders, and getting his dad in as head coach.
Yeah, I mean that's what Brian's just said there. Would they both go to New York? Don't know. That's a bit of a stretch.
No, I can't see them having, but I can definitely see both of them going to Dallas.
100%. Yeah, I can see that.
Because Dallas is going to be around probably 8th, maybe top 6 pick themselves. You know, because they're down in tools now, man. There's no doubt about it. They know there's nothing to play for. They know there's nothing to play for. So, you know, you can definitely see it. You can definitely see those two teams being in the top 5, top 6 picks by the end of the season, the Giants and Dallas. So, yeah, man, I can definitely see something crazy like that happening.
Back to Burrow's question. Obviously, I would think this is I wouldn't see it as a learning curve if we failed to get to the postseason. I would be majorly pissed off if we don't get to the postseason. Yeah, this is. I think now we are where we are. You have to get to the postseason. I don't want to really be a wild card team. Ideally, I'd like to, win the division, but we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be tough.
We'll have to. I mean, we can go through it if you want, because
we will. Well, that's one of the questions. So, I'll come back to that.
It's still technically possible, but
I'll come back to that at the end. The 54th at the 54th, which I know Deluxe is heavily involved with the 54th. So, go and have a look at them on X. Basically, it is a all-round thing where Commanders fans, they want you to be the 54th man on the roster. That is the idea behind it. Shout out loud and sing, and we'll go and join the movement of being the 54th person. He said, can Washington end another streak and get its first shutout since 1991? Now, I looked at this and it was the 30th of September 1991 versus the Eagles was our last shutout. Can we get a shutout?
It's very difficult nowadays to get shutouts, and it's only because
100%
offense are better than it needs to be, and also defense. The rules are against the defense. You know, a really solid defense nowadays. You know, you can't touch a player without giving the penalty away. So it's very difficult to keep a shutout nowadays. Now I think one of the games this year we were playing like
Carolina.
Through the third quarter. Was halfway through the third, something like that, and we still had someone at 0. But again, I can't see it, man. I just can't see it.
No, I can't see a shutout. I mean, I think they might get 6. They might get a touchdown. Maybe CeeDee Lamb gets a touchdown and something like 60, 70 yards. But yeah, if they score more than 10 at the weekend, I'll be very disappointed. Dark Brown said Sirianni relied too much on analytics. Now he's listening to the players and coaches. I wanted him gone 6 weeks ago. Yeah, I'm sure you did, mate, and a lot of others did.
Like yeah. I was laughing. I'm going, keep him. The guy's fucking shite. And then obviously, as I say, he's turned the corner somehow. I don't know what he's done. It's probably got the owners fucking a goat or something like that. Pictures of that.
Maybe. He's got incriminating evidence, Scass. He's got incriminating evidence, maybe. Dark Brown also says, if the Cowboys had a fire sale, would you want any of their players? Micah Parsons, yes, please. Zach Martin, I'd take him in a heartbeat.
A bit too old now, though, for me, Martin.
Yeah, I still think he's great.
I mean, but he plays right guard.
I like Bland as well.
Yeah, Bland's decent. I'd probably go for him over Diggs. Why? Because he's younger.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
And
CD, obviously. Yeah,
because let's face it, we need another wide receiver. 1A, 1B type player, man. We need one of those.
With 100, no, that's T Higgins. We've already decided that. But
T Higgins.
With 120 million potentially, if you cut John Allen in cap space, plus whatever they make the cap this year, probably gonna have around about 120 mil, third, if not second, in the NFL total. We got a lot of shopping to do next year, so it'll be. We're
going to sign a lot of players that we've already got.
Yeah, true.
So. It'll be interesting to see how our contracts are structured because, yes, we have got cash-rich owners now. So I want to see that being used. You know what I mean? I want to see like loads up front, hardly any cap hit for a big player. See, I mean, that's what I want to see. You know what I mean? But we'll have to see how that goes. But
So
that was people, rich guys.
Deluxe has said here, I could see Jerry making a bad decision extending McCarthy. I can see Howie making a smart decision in firing Sirianni even after a good season. I couldn't agree more with you. I think that might be the way it goes. But I honestly think, Deluxe, that Sirianni's saved his job these last few weeks. It depends on how far they go in the postseason. If they win the division and they go quite far deep into the postseason, Saquon Barkley's riding the train, and that's it. Deluxe needs an eye appointment. Yeah, maybe should have gone to Specsavers, lads. Yeah, should have gone to Specsavers.
Yeah, I mean, it's put. I mean, for that, there's no way in hell Jerry's keeping McCarthy. But
no, not on a dead contract. No.
Who on earth would want to go there, knowing full well you've got no power at all at the club? As head coach, you've got no power because Jerry does all sorts of shit on his own. Doesn't even tell his head coach about it. That Mingo contract, that the Mingo trade he did on the deadline day, that wasn't even McCarthy didn't even know about it until later on. I mean, it's like what the fuck are you doing? And you wonder why you're shit. Stay the fuck out, Jerry. You're a fucking businessman. You're a rich owner, dude. You're not a fucking football guy. You don't know anything at all about it. So fucking stay out the way. Let the boys go. But the big ego of him would not let it happen. The Jimmy Johnsons when he was there. Jimmy Johnson was building a dynasty, true dynasty. And what? He's getting all the love and not me. Fuck that. Fire him. And then did it to Bill Parcells as well in the 90s.
I know, yeah.
That's the problem with people like fucking Jerry Jones. And if you're a big name as a head coach, why the hell do you want to go there unless you've got no other place to go?
Or if you're a start-out head coach like a Ben Johnson, someone like that.
But again, do you want to go there and do that? Because
that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't do it.
Yeah, because you've got a high rep, haven't you? You're coming in thinking, I'm going to be able to do this and do this and do that, and then all of a sudden you're getting undermined by fucking Jerry Jones, the owner.
Do you fight fire with fire and say, well, okay, we need someone that's a big name that's going to, put bums on seats? Do you get a Bill Belichick type coach? Or do you think that just wouldn't work? It wouldn't work, would it?
The egos of them two would be too big. Well, what would happen is they'd have an argument and Jerry'd fire him. That's basically what would happen. He wouldn't last long at all. I mean, the only way you can get bums on seats, I say, is the Sanders pick. It's the Dion in charge head coach. Now, again, he might be a bit too early for him as a head coach in NFL, Dallas, but that'll get
come calling, mate.
He's a legend. He's a Dallas legend, so the fans will come. Do you know what I mean? So, but would he put up with Jerry's shit? A little bit, probably more than say a Belichick would. You know what I mean?
100%.
What do you do? It's such a difficult place because it's got a lot of the things you want as a head coach. It's got, well, it's a lovely stadium, but it's falling apart just like ours is. And then you've got 120,000 people go there every week. You know what I mean? Like Arlington and Dallas area, it's the Cowboys. You know what I mean? The America's fucking team. Even though I hate that saying.
So do I.
All over the world. They're a massive brand, most expensive franchise in the NFL. So.
Supposedly the most valued franchise in the NFL, but if we look at the most expensive transaction,
it'd be us. Yeah, it'd be us, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, but you're still trying to buy Dallas. It would be more than
11 billion. Yeah,
exactly.
That's what they're saying.
In cash,
Paul's put a question in. He said, let's be honest, if we haven't got a turkey leg ready to be eaten when we go 20 points up, we've messed the revenge meme big time. Could not agree more with you. Yeah. Pull out the old Salvation Army bin and let's all get in it. You know what I mean? Fuck off, Dallas. Sorry, I can't stand the cow turds, mate. I can't stand them. But there you go. Jesse says, here we go, we've got to bring this up and it's quite funny. He said, since cold weather affects people differently, do you think cold weather will affect Jaden's play? Can Scouse, in his professional opinion, give us a little bit more insight in this? And should we send him a fur coat? Also, what would be the fallout if we lose on Sunday?
I mean, has he got something? Has he got a point, Jesse, there with the cold and Jaden? Potentially,
maybe.
Potentially, he's not. He's where he's grew up his whole life. He's never played in cold weather. He hasn't. He's just never done it. So And he hasn't really played in real cold weather yet either in DC. So we'll find out for sure. I'll tell you that in the next few weeks when it gets colder and colder, heading into December, being bloody freezing. So we'll see how it goes. But I mean, of course, if it's already warm, your muscles are going to feel more relaxed and more loose. They just are. Muscles are pliable in that respect. You get that's why you warm up. That's why you warm your muscles up before you go and do heavy activity. That's the idea behind it. Your muscles are more pliable. They stretch easier. You feel looser. You feel, and you probably feel, more relaxed because your muscles, because you're not holding yourself so bloody tight because you're freezing. Now again, that could be a problem for Jaden coming forward, sure, because they say he's not used to it, and if he's just getting wrapped up, and then he's holding himself like that because rattling his teeth because he's freezing, then yeah, maybe he won't be loose, and maybe he will be like that half a second late on the pass, and that half a second's enough to be incomplete or complete. So, I mean, technically, is there a possibility? Maybe, but obviously, what will stop that is him having a good game in cold weather. As soon as he does that, there'll be none of us talk anymore about it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think it is a slight issue because if you go back to what you were saying with Jesse before, when we've talked about it, you were saying, well, he's never played in cold weather. Now he's got a rib injury. It's tough to be like, well, hang on a minute, what is actually going on here? Yeah, I think it is an issue, but also think that I don't think we need to be buying him a fur coat at the moment.
Did that be December time?
Yeah, what's the fallout if we lose this game? I mean, Twitter will be in fucking meltdown. That's the certainty.
Oh yeah. If we lose this game, I think you'll see a lot of people throw the toys at the pram. 100%.
100%.
See a lot of fans go mental on it. That would be the biggest overreaction. But again, this is the matchup that at the start of the season, you go, well, if we can split with Dallas, we'll be happy. Now it's like, no, Dallas are absolutely dog shit. So we need to go in there and absolutely do the business. Simple as that. Just stomp them all day and don't even give them a chance to get in the game.
And I think we will. I think we will.
That's what we need to do.
So to that point then, Scott G also put a question in. He is at 20GDog on Twitter. He said, what do you think it will take for at Jesse to stop talking about JD5 playing in supposed cold weather?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, all it needs is him to have a good game in the cold. That's all it is.
That's it.
It's a good game, tears somebody up, and you go, okay, yeah, you can play in the cold. Simple as that.
And then off the back of that, he said his second question is: have fans moved on from looking for moral victories from the L's in the last 2 weeks?
Oh yeah, I think fans have had enough now. We don't want to be going 3, 4, 5 games without a win. We don't want that because again, it's going to be a meltdown. I think we'll be on meltdown in the show probably if we lost the next 3 games. I think we'll be fucking kicking off as well. So. I
don't think there is moral victories, but I understand where Scott's coming from because half of social media was fuming, and the other half of social media in Commander's Land was like, "Oh, are you guys Aussies?" No, mate, we're not Australian. We're British. We're British,
can you see
mate.
The flag behind our heads, mate? Can you see the flag?
We are British, buddy. But we are from the north. Because grim up north in Britain. I don't sound like I'm from up the north, but yeah, I live just north of. I live 2 hours north of Manchester, and a Scouser is someone from Liverpool, so that is why we call him. Or I keep calling him Scouse. His name is Andy, but Andrew. Sorry, but that's your Sunday name, so we're not doing that. But yeah, we're not. We're not Australians, but we do know some Commanders Australian fans. So we do know them. So we get everywhere, unfortunately. Bit like you birds. I mean, I was walking to work today and saw a bloody Eagles fan. So hang on a minute, what the hell's going on here?
They'll come out the woodwork when they're doing well, mate. You know the script.
I know the script, mate. I know the script. I think they just like the bird, but there you go. But you can stick to your Kelly Green. That's Not for me. That no. looks like Slimer, but there you go. It is what it is. Well, our final question, Scouts, will go back to Tim Towner. He said, "Walk through each of our remaining games and guess our final record prediction." Rod also put something in the chat about can we go through the rest of the schedule. So it's Dallas, obviously on Sunday, 6 p.m. game on Fox. What are your thoughts on Dallas? Absolute win for me.
Yeah, win.
Yeah, that's a win.
I reckon win by at least 10.
Oh, 10? Come on, Scouts. It's going to be a blowout. It's going to be 20 points easy.
When I do my score predictions, they're always close. I said we lose by 7 to the Eagles. We lost by 8. You know what I mean? Like these things are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not too far away. So win by 10.
Tennessee at home.
Win.
Agreed.
Not
then
too
we've got the bye. Then we've got the bye week, which is the least I'm least scared of. Next one after that.
Everybody wins.
Yeah, everyone wins. Away at New Orleans. Tough game, I think. But coming off the bye.
It depends what New Orleans shows up. I mean, if you're getting the Derek Carr from the first 2-3 weeks of the season, then no shit, yeah, it's a different level. MVS is playing well. Valor Scantlin, he's playing well. You still got to look after Kamara. I mean, yeah, and we do tend to struggle against the run, so he could be a big factor. But again, for me, I think Lattimore plays in that game. I think
so do I.
In that game, and you definitely want to play against his old team. I still think we win that game.
Okay, next one, and this is the only one I don't know about. And Dark Brown, just keep your ears closed. Philly at home.
I mean,
you were stationed at Chicksands, were you? Well, that's interesting, mate, because I've got friends who were at Chicksands, and yeah, I was stationed at Digby. So if you know, you know. That's an interesting little tidbit there. So yeah, I was down that neck of the woods as well, mate. So small world. Even though you are an Eagles fan, small world. But yeah.
Someone's got to be, haven't they? Hey, come on, somebody's got to be.
I've got a lot of friends who went through Chicksands. Yeah, we used to call it Chicksnads because it sounds very very much like that. But there you go. Eagles, the Eagles.
Yeah. This is obviously the hardest one left on the schedule.
Yeah, 100% agree with you.
I think this one depends on how Philly have been doing. Like for example, we haven't gone through their running, but. For example, say they lose, they've still got to play Pittsburgh. They've still got to play
the Ravens, and they've got the Rams away this weekend.
Yeah, so they're the 3 hard ones for them. The other 4, I think they win easy. I think they've got.
Oh, they go out with. They've got Dallas and New York, haven't they? I think in the final 2 games.
And they've got the Panthers left as well. So.
Oh, that's 3 wins. That's 3 wins straight off.
So that's 3 wins easy there. So it's the other ones that are going to be the harder ones for them. And they've got 7 games left because they've had their bye. So they've got. So the hard ones for them is going to be the Rams, Ravens, Pittsburgh, us. Basically, they're the harder ones for them. But it depends what they do. If they win all 3 of those games, because they play them before they play us, they play the Rams, and then I think it's Pittsburgh, and then it's the Ravens. I think it's that way around. Could be wrong.
I think it is too. Yeah.
And if they lose one of those games, it's still, and we win all games up until that point, it's still game on for the division. Okay, then that means that whoever wins this game against Philly and us, I've got a really high chance of finishing first.
Agreed.
But we have to win out. Like, there's no way around it. There's no way you're going to see Eagles lose 3 games. You're not going to see that. You might see them lose 1 to a Ravens or a Pittsburgh, and maybe to us if it really mattered. But if they've won all the games, if they beat Pittsburgh, Ravens, Rams, and they come to us,
it's done.
I don't think we win. It's done. It's done. So I think we lose then quite easily. See what I mean? So it's that kind of thing of, it's it just depends what they're doing. I think for our motivation, because if we know we can't get it, what's the point in killing ourselves trying to beat Philly for nothing? Because Dallas aren't going to be catching us. I know you're trying to play for the best wild card position, but that if it's not for the division, it doesn't really matter to us if we can't get it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think because we're 2 games ahead of the wild card. The next wildcard team, I don't think we're going to drop out of that at all. That's why I was saying to Andy's question earlier, it's difficult to now find a scenario where you fall out the playoffs.
You have to
But
lose
at the
5
same,
or 6. That's what you have to do. You know,
but
it's pretty.
at the same time, that is the toughest game on the schedule. The Eagles. I'm going to say that I don't want to say we win it. I don't want to do it. Can we come back to that one?
I think if it's really, if the game's really on the line, I think we could get it. Do you know what I mean? I think if we really go for it, I think we could nick the game. But I just depends on it beforehand. Do you know what I mean? Like for me,
Atlanta Falcons at home. Kirk Cousins coming back to town.
That's if he's even playing by then. He got benched for Penix last week, so
he did actually. Michael Penis is in, isn't he? Yeah, I forgot about that.
So the thing is for me that I'm not worried about Atlanta. Yes, they've got a good run game. They've got Bijan Robinson. You know, they've got some really good players on offense, especially. But they're not really putting it together. And I think they wouldn't be by that time. They'll have fallen out the wayside because I think they're massively overrated for where they're at the moment at Atlanta. I think they're like 4th or 5th in the wild card race, something like that.
Yeah, I think so. And then final,
we'll beat them.
Final game, Dallas away, win.
And again, if we need to win, we got the win. You know, I mean, if it's a case of, you know, it's just I just can't see any other way. You know what I mean? Like I just can't. By that time, they're definitely tanking. They'll probably play out the team. So
we are in Canada Mike territory there. That is 12 wins, and we haven't included Philly.
Yeah, I mean, if we win all games, it's 13, isn't it? We've got left. So
yeah,
we've got
13
games left.
wins.
So it's 13-4. That's the only way we're going to win this division. We have to win out and hope that Philly lose to Baltimore or Pittsburgh, or even better, lose to both, because then they won't be going on stupid like count back and all the rest of it. Because it's like strength of schedule, then it's against in-division teams, then it's like strength of the NFC other teams that you played. So that's why if Philly lose to say the Rams, it doesn't matter to us. But if they lost to because we didn't play them, so they can't match it. See what I mean? Whereas if they get beat to a Baltimore or Pittsburgh, we've played them. See what I mean? So we can match up with them. So that's why we prefer them to lose to one of those two, if not both of them. If it'd be better for us. But yeah, man, it's interesting to say. It's still technically it's kind of in our hands, barring I say as long as Eagles lose.
As long as we take care of business and the Eagles lose,
they've just got to lose one game before us. That's all. And so one of them are Baltimore, Pittsburgh, which I think they will. I think they'll lose one of those games to do.
How are we gone from a 4-7 team to potentially looking at 12 wins?
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. I mean, you look at the teams that we've got left. Besides Philly, all the other teams aren't even playing. Oh, in Atlanta, they're playing for playoffs. But everybody else aren't playing for shit. See what I mean? So, you know, their teams we should be beating. Teams who aren't in the playoff hunt, we should be beating those teams.
Absolutely, agree with you 100%. So, what's your prediction then? Finally, for this weekend against the Cowpats?
I think we win. I think we get 30. I think we get 30-20. I think that's how it'll be.
I'm going to go 35-10. Commanders.
I'd love it, man.
He's saying cow turds get blown out 38-13. That'd be great. I'd be well take that. I would well take that in a heartbeat. I mean, if you look, it's not as if we're not scoring no Scouts. That's the thing. It's not as if we're not, putting points on the board. Yeah, these last two games have been a bit of a struggle at times, but 37 against 20 against Tampa Bay, 21. Then we got 38. Then we got 42. 34 against Cleveland, 23 against Baltimore, 40 against Carolina. Yeah, anomaly. 18 against Chicago, 27 the second time round against New York, 27 again against Pittsburgh, and 18 against Philly. It's not as if we haven't got a good scoring records. 30-10, Rod says to the Commanders. Yeah, man, we've got to score 30. We've got to put 30 on these easy.
I mean, yeah, I think that's the minimum look I'm thinking of. You've got to be at least hitting 30 points against these.
100% agree
offensively. But again, I'd say defense, you just don't know. I mean, QB Rush might show up and he might actually have an okay game, which might.
He's beat us twice.
That's what I mean. He's beat us before, so it's not like this guy is he's totally dog shit. But yeah, man, I think we win. I think it'll be an easy win. Like, you know, but it's only going to be, but the points are going to be closer. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I say.
All right, well, that just about does us. Thank you, everybody who submitted a question. Tim Towner, Paul, Andy Burrows, the 54th, Jesse, Scott G. Thanks all for being in the chat. Scott G, Jesse, Aled, Brian, Deluxe, Rattlehead, Paul, Rod, and Dark Brown, even though you're an Eagle. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate it. Please go out and do us a favour. Please like, subscribe, tell your nan, tell your dog, tell your dad, tell your uncle, anybody. Two stupid Brits chatting absolute rubbish about the NFL and about the Commanders. Come across and give us a subscribe, man. And also, next week is our 100th show. So we're going to have a few... yes, I think it's 100th next. Or is this...
This is episode 98.
Oh, this is 98. What am I talking about? I thought this was 99. I didn't make this was 99. I don't know. I must have missed a show there. Missed a show. But 102 shows time. So, yeah, we'll get some special guests putting in a few different videos for us, and we'll take it from there. There might be a few things that the people in the chat can get involved in as well. So
we got some nice people to say some stuff, haven't we?
We have, yeah. So it'll be very good to see. All right, everyone, that just about does us. So thank you, Scouts, as always, for being with me, and we'll be back the same time next week. It's Dallas week. Let's get that dub.
Bye.